What is up, YouTube? This is T-Quentin1 coming at you with a video, and today I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I think I made it pretty clear in my last video. I fucking love A New Hope. It's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie. And I don't think it will surprise anyone to learn that Empire Strikes Back is a much bigger film than A New Hope. Most sequels are. It has more characters, locations, and action than the first film. The real shocker, though, is that it's better than A New Hope. You heard right, better. Everything in this movie took it to the next level in terms of narrative, action, you name it, it was improved upon in this film. The biggest thing I can say that was really a positive throughout the entire movie is the tone. It's a much darker movie than the first film, and it goes into some territories that I don't think Star Wars has really gone into before or since. I mean, there's been some darker moments in Star Wars since, but this was the first time we really saw the dark side of this galaxy, and it was awesome. The locations of this movie are absolutely amazing. Dagobah is literally dripping with atmosphere. And Cloud City is one of the most interesting locations I've ever seen, bar none. And another thing, the Imperial Star Cruisers, not a lot of people go into these, and I don't know why. They're so great. They put off this really cold, off-putting vibe that is just absolutely perfect. I want to talk about one of the main things I love about this movie, and that is the relationship between Han and Leia. Now, we saw this sort of budding in the first movie. They had some nice banter, but here they legitimately fall in love, and it feels natural, which is really hard to do. Their dialogue is absolutely perfect, and their personalities seem to fit nicely together. I didn't have any trouble buying that these two fell in genuine love. One of the other things I absolutely adore about Empire Strikes Back is in contrast to the very straightforward story of A New Hope. Don't get me wrong, I love the story of A New Hope, but this film has several twists and turns in it that you really don't see coming, one of which I'll go into later. Another thing is, if you remember, I praised Alec Guinness as the character of Obi-Wan. Frank Oz as Yoda is just as good, if not better. Luke's training in this film, and in most movies, you just see a montage and it would cut to Luke as a fully trained Jedi. But here they really go in depth with this training, and not just the physical side, but the mental and the spiritual side of the Force. And you really learn a lot about the Force through the course of this film. Now, of course, Luke's training isn't exactly complete in this film as he rushes to face Darth Vader in one of the greatest scenes in the film, if not of all time. The confrontation between Luke and Vader is intense and emotionally charged. One of the most well-directed fight scenes, honestly, I've ever seen. Now, I can't speak to Irvin Kershner's talent in broad strokes because really, I haven't seen another movie he's made that's any good, nonetheless this good. But, I mean, him directing this movie, he was fantastic. He was a perfect director for this kind of film. And the new characters I really want to talk about, I already mentioned Yoda, but they're really fleshed out. Lando as well. I thought he was just going to be Han 2.0, but black. And he wasn't. He really did have his own personality. He was a very different kind of character. Yeah, so it's just a fucking, it's wonderful. The action scenes are so much more well directed than they were in the first film. And don't get me wrong, I really liked the action in the first movie, but here, like, it's so visceral and angry. As I already said, the confrontation between Luke and Vader is crazy. And speaking of that confrontation, at the end, though, I want to really talk about this, and that is the twist. Darth Vader is Luke's father. I don't give a fuck who you are. Unless you had it spoiled for you, you did not see that shit coming. It was a bombshell. Fucking nobody knew that Luke and Vader were even related. I never even suspected. Granted, I was a little kid, but I don't think anyone anywhere could have guessed that. In terms of negatives, like the first film, there really isn't any. I guess it ends on a pretty sour note. No one really is happy, so it's a bit of a cliffhanger ending. But hey, I got the DVD of Return of the Jedi. I can just pop that fucker in. I don't need to wait 3 years. But at the time, I bet that was really sucked to wait for the next movie. So what else can I say? Empire Strikes Back is a perfect movie. And the first one was pretty damn close. I gave it a 10 because I just love that film. But Empire Strikes Back is the definition of a 10 out of 10 movie. I don't think there's a sequel better than this. The only things that came close to The Dark Knight, Mad Max Fury Road, and Toy Story 3. And maybe Force Awakens, but that'll be a later review. So yeah, I fucking adore this film. Give it a 10 out of 10. T-Quentin1 signing out.